Hello, this is Adam Bust again, and today we're going over Module 2, which is create a basic PO and market basket. To create the basic purchase order, there are 5 steps. The first step is to go shopping. We go shopping in our catalogs tab. The next step is to add the item to your cart. Step 3 is to add the item to your order guide. Next we have step 4 is to check out. And then last but not least, we have step 5. These are the 5 steps in which we're going to use today to create our first PO, our basic PO and market basket. Let's get started. Now, one of the benefits of a basic catalog is the items that are in the basic catalogs you can add to your order guides, which we discussed in our module number 1. To get started, we'll click on Interstate Marketplace. When you click on Interstate Marketplace, you'll notice the categories for all the items that you may need to buy for your hotel. Now, if you're new to Interstate or just starting to use Market Basket, you may not know what suppliers we use for certain items. So instead of giving you the full list of suppliers, we just give you the categories. Once you click on the category, at that time you'll see the supplier. So let's go over a couple examples. If we were to click on batteries right here, we'll see Battery Shack 2. To go back, I come up and I click on the cookie crumbs here, or breadcrumbs I should say, and click on Interstate Marketplace, and it takes me back to my categories here. If I was to go and click on gym equipment, I would see Hotel Fitness. So I think everyone should be getting an idea of what we have here. Now today we'll go shopping using China Glass Flatware and Silver. So here I'll click on China Glass Flatware and Silver. It gives us our suppliers for the particular category. And here you'll see Corby Hall, Oneida, and Still Life. For today's session, we'll click on Oneida. I'll click on Oneida here, and now we see the categories that Oneida has put in the market basket. They sell dinnerware, flatware, and hollowware. Here I'll click on dinnerware. When I click on dinnerware, now it will show me the items that Oneida sell that's under the dinnerware category. And it's very important here when you look at the items in Market Basket, regardless of which of the basic catalogs you went into, when you get down to the actual item, they're all listed the exact same way. So let's go over how the items are listed in Market Basket for your basic catalogs. The first thing you'll see right here is the item number for this particular item. This is the same item number if you were to call the supplier and order this product by phone. Below the item number, you'll see a computer monitor. If the supplier put a picture of the item into the system, when you click on the computer monitor, it would show you the picture of that item. In this case, we can see the pattern for this particular Avani undecorated pattern for Oneida. Beside the computer monitor, you'll see where it says More Product Information. Here I click on More Product Information, and this will give me a better idea of the product I'm looking for. So we start with the item number, the product name, the name of the supplier, the unit of measure. In this case, you'll notice the unit of measure is a dozen. And this is very important because the unit of measure is exactly how the product is priced. So here we'll find the unit of measure is dozen. So if we look over here, the cost of this item is $40.50. That's by the dozen. The reason we're talking about unit of measure so much is because that's how it's priced. Now the case package will tell you how many of those unit of measures will come in a case. So in this case, you will see that there's 3. So to buy a case of these particular AD low cups, you would get 3 dozen at $40.50 per dozen. So in actuality, if we're getting this product, the cost would be $121.50 because we have to buy 3 dozen. As we go down a little further, it has the unit of measure. It has the minimum order, which is 3. You can see this is not a tax-exempt item. And then at the bottom, you'll find a description of the item. In this case, it's the Avani undecorated AD cups low. And then it talks about or discuss the description of that particular item. Now, when you go into Market Basket to place an order, if the picture of the item and the more product information is not enough information for you to actually make a decision on whether that's the item you want or not, you're still free to call the supplier and get as much information as you need. Market Basket is not meant to separate you from your supplier and that dialogue that you have and communication and so on and so forth. It's just when you're ready to place the order, you come to Market Basket. So here we'll see the Avani undecorated AD cups low. Below it, we'll see the name of the supplier. In this case, again, it's Oneida. Now, we knew it was Oneida because we actually clicked on Oneida. However, you can actually search for products in Market Basket as well. When you search for a product, you see up here it says search all catalogs. We could actually type in the Avani undecorated, and it will bring up all the suppliers that sell this particular item. So Market Basket definitely have a search capability. You don't have to go through all the catalogs to find what you want. You can search for it. But keep in mind, this only search the basic catalogs. To come back down here to our item and moving over to the right, you see the pack size is 3, the unit of measure is dozen, and the minimum quantity is 3. The minimum quantity is also very important because not only do you have to order that as the minimum, but you also have to order in those increments. So in this case, we couldn't order 4. We have to order 3, 6, 9, and so on and so forth. Moving over to the right a little further, we now see the price of the item, which is $40.50. Above the price of the item is where we put our quantity. So in this case, I'll say I'll get 3 of the Avani undecorated AD low cups. The next item right below that, let's say I want to get the tall cups as well. So I'll come over here and select the item and say I want 3 of those as well. And that completes step 1. We've actually gone shopping, found the items that we're looking for, and now we're ready to move on to step 2, which is to add the item to the cart. Now before I add the item to the cart, I want you to notice that I did not select the check boxes over here. Market Basket will select it for you when you put in the quantity that you wish to order. So here, to move to step 2, I will click on the action button that's labeled Add to Cart. When I click on Add to Cart, Market Basket will let me know what it did, and here you'll see it says Selected Items have been added to your cart. Now I can click on OK. You'll notice here, again in our summary information, you'll notice that we have 2 line items, and we have a total of $252.51 in our shopping cart. Now, this is excluding tax. This is simply the cost of these 2 items that we have in our shopping cart. Now we've completed step 2, which is to add the item to our shopping cart. Now that we've added to our shopping cart, we can move on to step 3. And step 3 is to add the item to the order guide. The reason you add the item to your order guide is because you buy the same thing each month at your hotel. But at the end of the month, you buy the exact same thing. Your order guide is actually created to make it easier for you to find the products that you need in the future. So the first time you have to find the product, but the next time you won't have to find it, you can go directly to your order guide. So here, when we click on Add to Order Guide, we have to select the order guide that we want to add this particular item to. So I'll come up and select the item, this order guide that I want to add this item to. So the next time I need this item, I don't have to go shopping through Oneida. I can go to my order guide, click on it, and then it'll list the products that I have in my order guide. Now that I selected the order guide for this product to go to, you can see here in the middle of the screen it says selected items have been added to your order guide. So here I'll click on OK. So those are the first 3 things we need to do to create a purchase order in Market Basket. We went shopping in the interstate marketplace. We added our item to our cart to make sure we can create the purchase order from it. And then we add it to our order guide so the next time we need these items, we can find it a little quicker. Now we're ready to move on to step 4. Step 4 is to check out. To check out in Market Basket, we come up and we click on the Cart tab. Notice I didn't say Action button. Step 4 is actually a tab, so I click on the Cart tab. When I click on the Cart tab, it will bring up the items that I put into my shopping cart. Now, if you've never used e-procurement before, whether it's through Market Basket or any other website that you can buy things from, you still do these steps that we're going over today. For example, When you go into a grocery store and you're looking for your products, you grab your shopping cart and then you walk around the store. As you find the things you want, you put it in your shopping cart. Once you've gone through the store and found everything you need, you come up to the front and you check out. And that's where we are right now. We're checking out at Market Basket. When you're in your checkout, you can actually make other decisions here. Like one, we can determine that instead of getting one case or 3 dozen of the 80 cups low, we can change it to 6. So if I change it to 6, I can put a 6 here, and then I click on the action button that's labeled update. This will update the pricing or the extension from 121.50 to 243. You'll also be notified that your cart was updated successfully. At that time, you click on OK. Notice that not only does it increase the extension here, but also in your shopping cart, which is up here, you'll see the total is now 374.01. The other thing you can do in your shopping cart before we move on to step 5 is you can actually delete an item. If you decided that you don't want the item, you can select the item and click on remove item, which I'm not going to do right now, but you can actually remove the item from the shopping cart. Once your item is in your shopping cart, it actually stays in your shopping cart until you either create a purchase order or delete it. Now that we've made our final decision on the items that are in our shopping cart, we're now ready to move on to step 5. Now before we move on to step 5, which is to create the purchase order, we have to select the items that we want to create the PO for. Because once the item is in your shopping cart, you can select which ones you want to create the PO for, leaving the rest behind to create another PO for later. So here, I will select all, which means I want all the items that are currently in my shopping cart, and then I'll come up here and click on Create PO. Once you click on Create PO, this opens up a screen in which you will see every single time you create a purchase order. So we'll go in depth in how to fill out this, which is called the header update. We're right now putting the key information in about this purchase order before it's actually generated. So let's get started. The first thing you'll see is the subject. This is where you tell Market Basket or give an idea of what you're ordering. This is for your use because after a while you have several purchase orders in Market Basket from the same supplier. So this is a great way to distinguish between one purchase order and the other. So here on the subject, first I'll put test to make sure this doesn't really go through. But ultimately I'm ordering dinnerware. So I'll put in dinnerware for current month. In your case, you can put dinnerware for January, February, March, or whatever the case may be. The next thing you'll see here is the required delivery date. Now, the required delivery date does 2 things in Market Basket. First of all, it lets the supplier know when you expect your goods. However, I want to make sure everyone understands that Market Basket will not change how your supplier delivers. If Guest Supply currently delivered to you on Thursday, and you have to order by Monday to get it on Thursday, then you will have to continue that same process in Market Basket. But your purchase order will simply need to be approved on Monday in order to get your products on Thursday. So in that case, you will put the required delivery date for that Thursday. The second thing the required delivery date does in Market Basket is tell the system when it should affect your checkbook. When it comes to accounting, it's not when you place your order or when the invoice arrives that it's supposed to affect your checkbook. Your checkbook is affected when the products arrive at your hotel under that particular month. So your required delivery date will tell Market Basket when it should affect your checkbook. If you're ordering something at the end of the month for the next month, then when you put that month in, it won't affect your current month, it will affect the next month. So here for the required delivery date, we can click on the calendar, which will list the month here. And let's say I expect to get these products next Monday. So when I click on a date, I now have my required delivery date. The next thing you'll find is the approver. Now, in most cases, your approval will default here. Typically, it may be your EC member. If you're a Crossroad property, it may be your general manager. But we do that I showed you how to do this under Module 1, which is setting up what we call My Settings. But since I'm under this account, I actually have to select my approver. So here, I'm going to select the general manager of the hotel. Well, actually, let's just say no approver. Coming on a little bit further, we have note to the supplier. Note to the supplier is any general notes to the supplier delivered back of the house, front of the house, after 4 p.m., and so on and so forth. You don't want to put any notes that you want to stay internal for your hotel here. So you don't want to discuss your budget or anything like that pertaining to the approval of this purchase order. We'll move down a little further, and next here we have ship via, and you always want to say best way. Most of the time it will default to best way for you. If it doesn't, just put best way. This is telling the supplier to continue delivering the exact same way you delivered before. Then we have ship to attention name. This is where you put your name here. If you're ordering the products, when the goods arrive at the hotel, you want it to have your name there so we make sure the products quickly get to you. Some hotels like to put the department, others put the name. Whatever you put, make sure you put it so they can identify who you are, so when the goods arrive, your name will be on the packing slip. Coming down a little further, we're now getting into the checkbook part of Market Basket. And this is where you tell the system what GL account the items are supposed to come out of. So here, since I'm ordering china, glass, and silver, let's say I'm in the food department. Now, in most cases, it would default to your department. So if you're in food and beverage, it'll default to food. If you're in housekeeping, it'll default to rooms. If you're in sales, it'll default to sales. Now, if you order for more than one department, then you may need to sometimes click on this lookup window, which will list all the categories we have in Market Basket. So here, if I click on this, I can come down. I'm ordering china, glass, and silver, so I can click on food. This will have my department now listed as food. And next we have our GL account. If I click on the lookup window here, this will actually show my 30-day forecast for this particular department. So when I click on this, I now have my 30-day forecast listed here. I can see my budget amount for food, net food costs, and I can see how much consumed. Now this is very important because this tells you exactly how much has come out so far. So right here where it says net food costs, we have our budgeted amount, our consumed amount, and how much we have available. So in this case, you can see we're over budget for now. And you can see the list goes on. Now, once you're looking at your checkbook, you can notice that you have the GL account, which lists all the GL accounts. And beside the GL account, you have the description. So this way, if you don't know it by the actual number itself, you can come and see the description of it. So instead of, in this case, let's say 52,100, you'll see 20,52,100 is net food costs, or cost of AV, or contract labor, and so on and so forth. For today's session, we're going to put this item under, let's quickly find china, glass, and silver. We see this right here. I'll select that. And now we've taken these items, put it on the food department for china, glass, flatware, and silver. Let's continue down a little further. Next, we'll see the tax. Now, most of the time, your tax will default. If it does not, you can simply put in your tax. Now, what's important about tax is this check right here is what makes it a percentage. So we're saying the tax is 7.75% for this particular hotel. This check is what makes it a percentage. If we take the check out, we're saying the tax is $7.75. Coming out a little further, you see it says freight. Take that same concept to freight. If you know exactly how much the freight is, which in some cases you may need to call a supplier, you can put the dollar amount for freight. So let's say the freight was $25 for this. The other way to put in freight is when you don't know how much your freight will be, but you want to estimate the freight. So let's say you want the freight to be in at 10%. You can actually put 10 here, and then by putting this check, you're now saying the freight is 10% of the total amount of the total cost of the item. We're taking 10% of that, and that will be our freight. This is called a header update, and you will have to complete this information every time you create a purchase order. So let's quickly recap. First, we have our subject, the required delivery date, our next approver, ship to attention name, our department and GL account, followed by our tax, and last but not least, our freight. Once we completed all that information, we click on OK, and Market Basket will then generate a purchase order for us. So in this case, for this particular hotel, we are on PO number 7938. If you're new or your property is new to Market Basket, you'll find that your PO generation, or the PO number will start with 1 and go up from there for your particular hotel. Alright, so we'll click on OK, and now we actually see the purchase order here. Here we have the PO number, which is 7938. The status of the PO right now is new. Now when we're talking about the status of the purchase order, this is very important. And there are basically three status that you'll see in Market Basket. New, which means you have yet to submit their purchase order to the approver. Pending approval, which means your general manager, or if you are the general manager creating this purchase order, that just means it hasn't been approved yet. And last but not least, once it's been approved and submitted to the supplier, the status will be accepted by supplier if it's a supplier that I put on Market Basket, or fax/email accepted if it's a supplier that you added to Market Basket. The status of your purchase order is very important because this is how you track your PO through the system. As we move to the right, you see the subject. In this case, we have test, dinnerware for current month. You may put dinnerware for July or April or whatever the case may be, whatever month you're in. Below that, you have the name of the supplier, which in this case is Oneida. Moving further to the right, we have the PO date, which is July 6th, followed by the required delivery date. We're telling the supplier we want to have this in on July 11th. And then last but not least, we have the total of the PO, which takes into account the tax as well as the freight. Now, to open up this PO and see what we ordered and how it's affecting our checkbook, there's an action button in Market Basket that's labeled Print with Detail. So here I'll click on Print with Detail. This will open up the purchase order for our hotel. We'll see at the top of the purchase order, it says Purchase Order, the name of the hotel, and have Interstate Hotels and Resorts. Coming down a little further, it'll have our purchase order number, our required delivery date, the status of the PO, which is new right now. As we move further down, we'll see the name of the supplier and the information about the supplier, the bill to and ship to, which is in Market Basket, which cannot be changed. The only thing that you have access to is the ship to attention, which in this case I put my name. Moving down further, we have the sent from. Now it's very important. The sent from will tell exactly the account you use. We do not share a Market Basket account, so everyone at the hotel that needs access or needs to place order would need to have their own Market Basket account, which we set up here at the Purchasing Department of Interstate. Moving down further, we have the items that we ordered. In this case, we have the Avani undecorated AD cups tall as well as low. You can see the GL account for this, which in this case is 2072-100, and that's for China glass and silver. Coming over a little further, we have the price as well as the extension. Now you'll notice here we have the subtotal for the item, which is $374.01. The freight, which we said was 10%, so it's $37.40. Followed by the tax, which in this case was 7.75%. The dollar amount for that will be $28.99. And last but not least, we have the total amount due, which is $440.40. Now that's all your suppliers see, but at the hotel we need more information, like how it's affecting our budget and so on and so forth. So if we come down further, we can actually see the budget information for this item. Here we have the budget period for this. In this case, it's for July 2011. For the food department, the GL account is listed here, which is for China glass, flatwood, and silver. Our budgeted amount was $1,500. Our current balance is still $1,500 because we haven't submitted this purchase order for approval, and there's no other POs out there that has used this particular GL account before. So our current balance is the exact same as our budget amount. Pending approval will list if there were any other POs out there, the dollar amount for those POs out there for this same GL account. As you can see right now, there's no other POs out there that have been assigned this GL account. Next, we have the cost of this purchase order, which is $440.40. The ending balance, which is our $1,500, minus the cost of this purchase order, which gives us $1,059.60. And it lets us know that we have 70.64% of our budget remaining. This is how a purchase order and market basket look when we click on print with detail. Now I'll come back up. To close this out, I'll click on the word close. We've just created a purchase order, which will conclude module number 2 in Market Basket. The key thing from this point is to make sure you click on Submit. When you click on Submit, this will submit the purchase order either to your approver, or if you are the final approver, it will submit the purchase order to the supplier. Thank you for your time today, and that concludes our second module, how to create a PO using a basic catalog. Thank you.